Once upon a time, there was a beautiful little boy named Joe. But he always wore a Red Riding Cloak, so everyone called him Little Red Riding Hood. Now, the boys who lived in Little Red Riding Hood's neighborhood would call Little Red Riding Hood a chick. They said that he was gay, which depressed him because he was struggling with his own sexuality and his sexual preferences, but he didn't let anybody onto this. But, it was kind of obvious because, he was wearing a red cape and he liked to visit his grandmother and he had a basket. So it didn't really surprise anybody that he was a little bi-curious at the time. So anyway, Little Red Riding Hood was skipping through the woods one day with his basket of Tylenol, ready to deliver it to his grandmother who lived in the middle of the woods. Because when you're elderly, it's good to live in the middle of the woods, because that way it's really difficult for anybody to get out there if you need help. And, Little Red Riding Hood's mother had been trying to tell her mother this, like, yo, idiot, move, get an apartment, get a condo. Seriously, why are you living in a cabin in the middle of the woods? My son has to deliver your Tylenol. Do you know how dangerous that is? There are wolves in these woods, but Grandma was always like, oh, no, it's not. Shut up. So Little Red Riding Hood was traipsing through the woods, and out from behind a bush, jump, came a wolf. And he's all like, hey, how you doing, Little Red Riding Hood? And Little Red Riding Hood was all like, hi, you're a wolf, and you're talking. That's normal. So the wolf was like, so little girl. And Little Riding Hood was like, I'm a boy. And then it just got really awkward. So the wolf went away. But it followed Little Red Riding Hood and noticed that the path Little Red Riding Hood was walking on led to the only house in the middle of the woods because, that's a very good real estate choice. So the wolf, going ahead of Little Red Riding Hood, broke into the grandma's house, and the grandma was like, ah, there's a wolf in my house, and it doesn't have pants on. Ah! And the wolf was like, shut up! And the wolf ate her. Because, yeah, the wolf has some issues. But anyways, the wolf dressed up, as the grandma. Because, he's a little bi-curious too. You know? And he's been trying out transvestite things. He has a couple of transvestite friends, and he's been to a couple of tranny parties, but he doesn't really know if it's for him. So he's just trying new things right now, but that's okay. Not judging. And but just then Little Red Riding Hood came in and was all like, yo, hey Graham, brought your Tylenol. Coming to ya. Yeah. And the wolf was all like, oh no, he's gonna notice that I'm wearing his grandmother's clothing and that I ate her. He's gonna know I'm bi-curious. And then Little Riding Hood opened the door and was like, OMG, Grandma, what big eyes you have. And the wolf was like, uh-oh, the better to see how straight you are, my dear. And Little Riding Hood got awkward, and he was like, what big nose you have? And he goes, the wolf was like, the better to smell how heterosexual you are, my dear. And it was just then that the little boy noticed, oh wait, this thing is not my grandma. It's so obviously a wolf. And because it's so obviously a wolf. Wow, I'm kind of retarded because I thought this wolf was my grandma. Either that or I need contacts. And the wolf was all like, you caught me. I'm a little bi-curious. And the little boy was like, I'm a little bi-curious too. So the little boy and the wolf garnered a homosexual relationship with each other. Um, totally, very sweet. They both tried it out, and the little boy, about a year later, decided that he was gay, but the wolf decided that he was just plain bi because he still liked chicks. So, the wolf and Little Riding Hood live together in the little cottage in the middle of the woods because they're stupid and they don't want to move to a condo. And, here they lived happily ever after. The end.